what kind of design options are there, in case the student is interested in design and all that thing. So she's creative.
Fantastic,
So,
fantastic,
so I'm just, she may join.
fantastic.
Yeah, she may join. Just she'll also listen in also.
All right, perfect, perfect. All right, and finally we have Vijay Adimulam.
Yeah, I'm his daughter. My name's
All right,
Dhriti.
what's your name?
My name's Dhriti.
Dhriti. Okay. All right. All right. Tell me, Dhriti, is there anything in specific that you want clarified here?
No, I just wanted to look at this as an option because I'm not really interested in the science field or any other things. So I just wanted to see if this is right for me.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm in 10th right now, so I'm looking for options in,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So you brought out a very different perspective from many people here. And it's a very interesting perspective, and a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of people go through the same thing. They say, I'm not interested in math, I'm not interested in physics or chemistry, hence I'm considering design. So there are multiple reasons why people here, and thank you so much for all joining in. I'm just going to start off with a very basic part of the session. My name is Dion. Um, I I work with DQ Labs. I work closely with Umesh and Sean, who founded DQ Labs. Just one second. Umesh, are you handling
Yeah,
the screen?
Dion, before we start the session, I would like to give an overview of how we are organizing this session. All right, so
All
what,
right.
and
All
then
right.
I'll hand it over to
Perfect.
you so you can proceed. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Okay, cool. So, welcome everyone for the Design Career Seminar, Creative Career Seminar. So, this will be a 3-hour session, and we are going to touch upon a variety of very interesting information, very pertinent to uh, the creative students and also the parents, right? So, I'll just give you a preview of what all we are going to touch upon. Right. So before we start this session, I would want you to subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels because um, a lot of interesting events that we are organizing will be showcased over there, and you can always be in touch with what we are doing. We will explain you what all we are doing. Okay, very interesting stuff. Most of them are free, some are paid, so you can get benefited. Okay, so please subscribe to DQ Labs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels. And also, please create an account on edge.dqlabs.in. Okay, so you can do it parallelly, simple authentication that you need to do, but you can create an account using any one of your social media logins. Okay, so today's session we'll be touching about 10 important topics. All right. These are the various topics. First, we will talk about who DQ Labs is because it is important that you understand who we are because then you can trust on the information that we are giving, right? So, first of all, whenever you're trying to seek information from somebody, you should understand what their qualification is so that you can decide whether to trust that information or not, right? So, uh, we will touch upon DQ Labs and then what is design, what design means. There are a lot of misconceptions of what design is, so we'll be clarifying that. And what are the various careers in design? There are many interesting careers that are coming up, very lucrative, in demand. So we will be explaining about those and what kind of jobs one can get into after doing a design course. And the fifth topic is the subjects in 11th and 12th one should take so that those subjects will help you in the career of your choice. Okay. And sixth topic, how to prepare for the qualifying exams like NID, UCEED, CEED, NATA, JEE, architecture. And if you're planning to study design abroad, then what you need to do, what is required. We talk about the best design schools in India. So when I'm talking about mentioning the word design, I'm talking about architecture, fashion, and design as a collective term. Okay. And then as a parent, how you can support your child in this career, because most of you might be from non-design background, maybe engineers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, and etc. And your son or daughter is saying, okay, I'm creative, I want to get into this career. So you got to understand how you need to support them. So we'll be discussing that. And the last topic is most common mistakes done by design aspirants and parents. um, this is a very important topic, and we have identified these mistakes based on our personal interaction with students and parents. We have seen the decisions that they have taken and what are the outcomes over the last 10-15 years. So that will be like a summary of our experiences with our interactions with design aspirants. So it will be very, very valuable for you. So how we have structured this session is, as you know, that it is a 10 topics agenda, and we have approximately 180 minutes. So that leaves us about 15 minutes per topic, considering 30 minutes buffer here and there. So 15 minutes per topic, we'll be spending 10 minutes presentation and 5 minutes of question and answers. Maybe if a topic is very intensive, it may go beyond, and some topics may not take so much of time. But at the end of each topic, we will give you enough opportunity to ask your questions, and we'll be very happy to answer all your questions. And even after the time exhausts, no problem, we can stay back and we can answer all your questions. And we have also requested, if you want to showcase any of your work, you can do so after the session is done. All right. So now I would hand over to Dion to explain a little bit about DQ Labs, and then we can go to the next topic. Dion? Okay, I'm not sure if Dion is here or not, but nevertheless, I can uh, tell a little bit about who we are. All right, so the first and foremost important thing about any organization is its founders, because the experience, the vision, and the values of the founders percolates into the organization, right? So um, Design Quotient Labs was founded by Sean and Disa. Sean, Disa, and Umesh. I am Umesh. Sean is joining the session soon. So we were both classmates in IIT Delhi. We were doing our Masters of Industrial Design. And I have an architecture background. So I'm an architect and an industrial designer, and I have extensively worked in the automotive industry as a automotive designer. And Sean has an engineering background, and he has done masters in design, and he also got extensive experience as a design manager in automotive company. So we have both worked internationally in advanced design studios, and I have personally worked with Jaguar Land Rover. I'm going to show some of the works. Jaguar Land Rover and Hyundai Kia Motors in the US, and in the UK, and then General Motors as well. So why we started this particular institution is because, all right, so we have Sean here. Welcome, Sean. Um, yeah, Sean, you're on mute.
Yeah, hi, you can hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Great.
Yes. So why we have started is this institution is because when we have worked internationally, we have seen that Indians especially has got a lot of talent, but they lack exposure. The moment we give exposure to the students, they do wonderful job. And we saw great value in doing that instead of designing cars. Okay, by designing cars, we can affect the lives of uh, let's say a few 100,000 people, but if we can empower young individuals to get into design, they can further empower millions of people. So that way we see our value being extended. So that is the reason why we have started Design Quotient Labs. The DQ that you see here stands for Design Quotient Labs, like intelligent quotient, design quotient. And that is how we started DQ Labs in 2007. And it has been a very long journey. In the process, we have mentored more than 15,000 individuals to get into professions of design, architecture, and fashion. And in the process, we have developed very interesting tools. We have won NASSCOM's Design for India award for one of the tools that we have developed. Okay, and many of our students have got into NIDs, IITs, SPAs. They have in fact come out, they finished their education, they are working in companies. A couple of them have also done and finished PhDs. All right, so we have always been with them, mentoring, guiding, and yeah, so that is the background that we are coming from. All right, and Dion, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm back, Umesh.
Okay, so I have explained about myself and Sean. You can
Yeah,
proceed with the courses that we offer.
sure. Right. So can you give me screen sharing, right, Sumesh?
Oh yeah, I'll make you co-host.
Yeah, hold on. Right, I'm going to just, all right, you can see this on presentation, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, fantastic. Right, so like Umesh, just to continue from where Umesh left off, we are creating design superheroes, and we have been creating these since 2006, 2007. Our presence is in Bangalore. Our physical presence is in Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad, Mangalore, Thrissur, and Nagpur. However, we have right from the start been online. All right. And that's one of the interesting things about us. We've always been online. We started online. We've always been online. And through this online presence, we have been catering to people from all across pretty much a lot of the countries, and depending on the various programs we have. Fundamentally, uh, what we do is we help transform the thought process of every student. All right, so we affect students in that way. So a simple example would be, someone has ideas. It could be creative ideas, it could be just some random ideas, but expressing these ideas has always been a challenge. All right, so number one is generating the generation of these ideas. The second part of it is expressing these ideas in a manner that somebody else can understand. So we've been working towards this. So here's an example of how a basic thought process of a logo. So this was a task to the student called Siddharth, and he was interested in designing a logo for a coffee shop. All right. So we kind of guided him and took him through this entire process of thinking, what does coffee mean? How does that coffee go from one, how do you express that cup of coffee through a symbol? All right. And so he's gone through this entire ideation process to create a final logo. All right. So this is the logo that he's created, and this is his hand sketch, and this is how it looks in a very realistic fashion. All right. So that is really what creative thinking is. Creative thinking focused onto a solution. All right. Now, if we use these thought process, if we channel these thought processes into the right direction, there are tremendous careers available. Careers like shelter design or architecture or interior design or exhibition design. Then it comes on to logo design. You'll be talking about logo design or character design or photography. Um, some of y'all were talking, I think Dia was talking about fashion design, fashion or apparel or jewelry or shoes, all of that. So that is really what is interesting. There's tons of opportunities out there, and we're going to come into that. All right. Um, Umesh has touched upon this a little bit about himself. They're both designers from IIT Delhi. He's a TEDx speaker. Umesh has done a very interesting TED talk. I think all of y'all should watch it. But yeah, they've been in the automotive industry, and they've founded two companies. One is DQ Labs, and the other one is Examplay. All right, we come into that. Now, Examplay is a learning platform that we've built in-house. Our students do better. And one of the reasons that we won the NASSCOM award for this, NASSCOM is a very, very prestigious award. And one of the reasons we won this is because of our, fundamental commitment to ensure learning. All right. So that if something is taught, how, something is to be learned, how should it be taught? So that's the area of research that we do. So we're into education research. All right. We do a lot of research into learning design. So for example, if you'll have to join our course and you'll have to learn, so we try and see the most effective ways of teaching something so that y'all can grasp well. There are four of us who co-founded this: Umesh, Sean, myself, I'm Dion, and we have Nishit, who's the technical head. All right. So there are four of us who've done this. We have presented our research at various conferences, including one at Singapore, which was very, very well received. So coming down to the fundamental courses that we offer, we do have basic introduction courses. That's the free online sketching programs. We do have free industry e-meets where we get people from industry on basis. We interview them and we get them to talk about their journey, as designers, and how they have impacted, the world. And we're talking about really, really good. For example, is lead designer for Java motorcycles. We've had him here. We've had an architect who's designing India's first 5-star railway station. It's coming up in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. We have had people working on flying cars, flying cars who've come on this. And last week we had a designer who's very passionate about inclusive, like very, very high quality.
So your audio is breaking sometimes.
We try and have it. Oh, all right. Is it better?
So it's better now.
I'm not sure.
It's better now. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Then we also have the e-meets, school e-meets, where we invite various school faculty to do workshops. And so some of these are free. Those are just to spread the awareness of design. But then we also have the design exploration programs. All right. So these are for the younger age groups, from say class 5, 6, 7 onwards. Where it's just that people have some idea about design, and they really want to know whether design is an intrinsic thing, what they want to do for the future, or whether it's something very light. What we've encountered is that a lot of kids in this age group, in the say class 5 to class 10 age group, one day they say they want to be an architect. The next day they say I want to be a pilot. The next day they say I want to be an engineer. Now we can't really blame the kids because that's all they're exposed to at that point. But there are underlying strengths that they have. All right. And through these programs, we kind of identify whether, number one, they have those underlying strengths. Number two, whether those strengths are just hobby based, or whether it's something that they're really passionate about. So that's what comes out in these design exploration programs, the various programs. We have skill development programs where we talk about just design, developing digital artwork skills or sketching skills and things like that. Then we have entrance exam coaching, which is typically preparation for programs like or entrance exam NIFT or UCEED for IITs. These are very competitive exams. To get into these colleges is very, very, very hard. So we do encourage, we've been working on this for the last 15 years now. So we were able to collate information, compile information, create our own information, and makes it tremendously easy for students to crack these exams. It's not 100%, but it is the best coaching programs that you can opt for. Portfolio guidance is another thing that we do now. A lot of students, professionals, they want to know how they present themselves well through their portfolio, right? When they go for a job interview or just an interview to get into school, they need to present themselves really well, and that's what we do. Another interesting thing that we do is we really encourage students to take live projects. All right, so we scout around 5 projects as soon as possible, and we try and get these projects for our students. So these are projects actually done for real companies by our students. It's absolutely amazing that our students get these opportunities, and to have this put on their portfolio is outstanding. All right, so we try and get these opportunities for them. It's not easy to get these opportunities, but when we do, we try and do a good job out of it. All right. A lot of companies come, but they may select a student or they may not even select a student because they're expecting highly professional output. All right. So we're the only institute that has paid internships, actual paid internships going on with companies in the US. So we have LearnCloud, which is a Texas-based company, which gives a lot of paid internships to our students. This is the first batch. We've had a second batch, which is getting selected right now. Apart from that, we do this designathon programs where we tie up, where we have a tie-up with an organization that brings NGOs and designers, bring the NGOs and designers together, and the designers solve problems for that NGO on one day in that 24 hours, and that's really called a designathon. Now, what we have told them is that we really want our students to be part of this process, to see what designers do and how designers solve real life projects. And there's nothing like Umesh said, our kids are creative, but they lack exposure. If we can get them exposure on these levels, realistic levels, then they're much better. The thought process get a lot refined, right? Everything that we do happens online. We've had an entire hackathon, design hackathon created online. That is, we've had students from 75 different schools all across India participating in this hackathon, so it's been brilliant. Now, really what happens is because of this exposure that we give, we get tremendous ranks, all right? So, for example, in architecture, we've got huge ranks, like 5 or top 10 ranks. Similarly, in entrance exams like NATA, getting a 60 stuff, we've got a higher score of 182.5 and tremendous scores through this. All right. So similarly, in JE paper 2, we've got a 99.96 percentile and similar scores. NIFT, again, tons of students have gotten to the top across India. And also, when it comes to design, NID UG is very, very, very challenging, right? So right from rank 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, these are like tremendous ranks for anyone to get. And we're lucky that our students have been able to achieve this, right? Here's another exam that's very tough, okay? But these are typically the exams that y'all need to look out for, all right? And similarly, just to talk about NID PG, we've got rank 1 in 4 disciplines this year. So interaction design, product design, universal design, and ceramic and glass design. All right. So I think that's about it from my side. Yep. So these are our centers all across India. All right. So Sean, over to you. I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Can I share? Yeah. I can share my screen. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. So now we come to the main part of the agenda. What you all have been waiting for is now it's extreme. Like Umesh made a point saying that we have a lot of talent in India, but yeah, we lack, a lot of students lack exposure, information as to what design is all about. So, generally when we say design, parents do not have so much of confidence. Not all, I'm saying many parents do not have, they lack confidence that it's a very strong career, very good opportunity. Basically, what do they do? So if you have information as to what a designer does actually in an industry, the role they play, it really helps make decisions. That's one. The second part is what kind of options are there in design also makes a huge difference and in making decisions. So I'm just going to share my screen. Hold on. Mm. So I would also like some participation from the students in the group, especially. So I might ask a few questions, and I would like if you all can respond in the chat box. Okay, fine. Just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Umesh, can you see my screen?
Yeah, Sean, you can
Umesh?
see.
Okay, so the first question I would like to ask the participants, especially the students, or even the parents also can participate, is how many of y'all in your class keep drawing like this? I mean, either it could be on your hands or on your notebooks and textbooks. You don't realize it, but at the end of the class,
So I do, sir.
Who's that?
So Yuktesh, me.
Okay. Okay. What about the rest of you? I'd like some participation, please. Are you the kind of person who, yeah, Nihal. What about the rest of you? I'd like you to participate so that when I get some feedback, it helps me understand you better, basically. So, a lot of us, including myself, yes, Abhinav, you don't realize it, but a lot of us keep drawing like this on our hands and our books. And so, what is this? What is this interest? What is this natural thing that we do? Okay, and what can how can I make a career out of this little interest and skill and passion that I have, and what kind of jobs are there? Just a quick thing about this. Can you see this image on the screen? Okay, this is so interesting for me. This is a cave painting that's 34,000 years ago. You can imagine 34,000. I mean, from now till 180 is 2,000 years ago, and I have to go up and down 17 times in time to reach this place. And when I reach here, this is a message that somebody had drawn 34,000 years ago, and I still understand it today. I know it's some sort of an animal. I mean, I've asked it to many students. It's a muscular animal. It's got hair on its back. It's in some information that's visually communicated across time. So this is the power of visual communication. Okay. The person may not even speak the same language, but you understand exactly what the person is trying to say. There's another painting, even more older. Anyway, so a lot of introduction has been done. My name is Sean, so that's me on the right there. And I've worked in General Motors in the design department in Bangalore. And before I went on to DQ Labs full time. So I would like you to look at this image on the screen just to understand something about us when we go into design architecture. One very keen, one very strong skill that we need to have or we develop is observation, a sense of observation, observing the obvious, observing the simple things around us. Okay, for example, a pencil. Okay, so how many ways can I use a pencil other than writing? So I've asked this to many students, and many give me different answers. But yes, a pencil can be used to scratch your head, to point at something, to earlier we used to wind our tapes, audio tapes, or you can keep it as a bookmark or mix some paint or something like that. So a pencil can be used in so many ways other than just um, writing or drawing, right? So observation is a key skill that we students should have. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about architecture, design, and fashion. Just before we start, what is creativity? Now, a lot of people misunderstand creativity to be just drawing. No, creativity is a lot more than that. It makes us human. Anything we do in life, we need to be creative. Even if we are cooking something, we need to be creative. Okay, so everyone is creative, but for a designer or an architect, creativity is a hard skill, not a soft skill. It's like it takes up a huge chunk of the work that we do. And creativity comes in so many ways. It comes in music and performing arts and dance and even writing, Even maybe you're absolutely not good in sketching or drawing, doesn't really matter. Even if you're imaginative in the way you think, the way you can write a story, the way you can create an imaginary world, that itself makes you human, makes you a very creative person. Okay. So now the main point of this discussion today is art just a hobby? Is it something that you do on the side, or am I desperately needed in today's world? This is an important statement. Does the industry need creativity? Does the industry need people like me? And what role do I play? Okay. Just before we go there, I was talking to a close friend who works in Apple, and when he went, he had some work where he had to go to this main Apple design center. Of course, when you say design center, you have the main people who make decisions there, not just software development, but even product design, right? And he was so excited he was going to this design center. So one thing I want you all to realize is that as designers, there are product designers, UI UX designers, user experience, user interface designers who work here in this design center. So let's discuss about the kind of work they do and how we as creative designers participate or do our bit for the industry, do our bit for research and development. Okay, so let's understand the power of design. So I'd like to start by showing you this video, a video of this how this car is developed. Okay, please hold on. So I'm just going to play this video. Uh, it might buffer a little, but it doesn't really matter as long as see you can see the video. You'll be able to understand what it's all about. So if you see a car being sketched here, okay. So I'm going to pause this video. So what you see is a car being drawn. So therefore, I mean, yes, every single car that you see on the road is actually starts off on a piece of paper. It's not engineering that comes first. It's design that's right in the beginning. Okay, somebody actually artistically draws the car. A designer, an artist, right, draws the car. And from here, it goes into engineering development. So design comes first, comes even before engineering. We do have basic engineering criteria. We know what kind of car we are doing. Yes, of course, that's the basic. But it starts with us designers. Okay, so there are so many things we think of. Okay, let the video go on, and then I'll continue. Okay, so let's go through basic stages of this car design. So the first stage is your drawing, sketch on paper, which goes up to a render. So let's just call this phase as a sketch or a concept sketch, okay? And the second phase is where it goes into a CAD model or a computer model. Okay, so basically you're seeing a 2D piece of artwork on 2D paper, and now it's going into a computer where it's 3D. So you can turn it around, you can see the volume, you can see the shape, you can get a feel of the design. Okay, now the next part is where it actually gets milled, like on a clay mill. Now you're making it into actual physical form. So from your computer, it's coming into 3D form, which gives you a shape, a feel, a volume that you can walk around in and visually have a look at it. And the fourth part of it is a prototype or a mock-up. It's not really a production vehicle, but a mock-up, okay, in which an actual physical model is done, in which you can see. So I have a question for y'all again, which y'all can put in the chat box. So let's take the 4 stages. So stage A is a sketch. Stage B is a computer model. Stage C, A, B, or let's call it 1, 2, 3. So stage 1 is the sketch. Stage 2 is your computer model. Stage 3 is like your clay model, and stage 4 is your prototype. Okay, I mean, this is just roughly how something would work in a car design studio. So my question to you is, which stage here is design and which stage here is engineering? Can you put it in the chat box, please? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can say 1 design, 4 engineering. What do you think? I want all the students to participate, even the parents can participate. Which part? Basically, my question to you is, which stage is design and which stage is engineering? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Pranish says 1 is design. Okay. So Yuktesh says 1, 2, 3 is design and 4 is engineering. Okay, go on. What about the rest of you? 1 design. So which comes under the design department and which comes under engineering? So Pranish says 2 involves both design and engineering. Abhinav says engineering. Okay, fine. So basically all the stages that you see is done in the design department. It has not yet gone into full-fledged engineering. Yes, Pranish, you are also right. It involves both design and engineering throughout the entire process, because engineering gives us basic criteria, internal criteria. You can say plus or minus in terms of volume. Okay, but all the 4 stages that you see comes clearly under the design department. Okay, so the first thing I want you all to understand is the extent in which design goes up to. Okay, it's not just design is not just a sketch on paper. The design department goes all the way from a class A model to the milling of a prototype, and even up to a proper physical prototype. In fact, sometimes you may see these concept vehicles and they may look like real functional vehicles. Many of them are not, but they're prototypes. They're one-off vehicles. Okay, they're not a vehicle that you can mass manufacture. And generally, what they do is when they take these vehicles, these prototypes, they are usually sent to auto expose. They click a lot of pictures of them, put them on websites and auto magazines, and get a feel of the public, get feedback from the public. And out of maybe 20, 30, 40 concept cars, maybe one will actually go into a production vehicle. Okay, and from there, once it goes from a concept car to a production vehicle, that is the go-ahead is given, then it goes into engineering development. Okay, so what I want you all to understand here basically is that it's not just engineering and manufacturing that runs the industry. There is design that comes before that. Okay, so maybe all this time, in India at least, so much of importance is given to engineering and manufacturing, but we don't realize that so many of the designs have been coming from the West, from the US, from Europe, and we already have the designs with us, and we just do the engineering development. Okay, so this design, I want you to understand, is so powerful. It actually adds value, and let's say if we are able to have a very strong talent, or a company in India is able to take things right from scratch, from design through engineering to manufacturing, then we have a very powerful combination here. So you must understand that when you're a designer, right? So let's say, for example, students like us get into an NIT, get into an IIT. It's not that we are just creative. There's only one side to us that's super creative. No, there is a side to us that's extremely logical, that has a logical side to us too, and that's the whole creative process, where you go through fuzzy logic, you go through a side which is illogical, and also it is validated by a side that is logical, and this is what takes things forward. Okay, so even let us say, for example, I'll show you an example. So let's say, see this car out here. Okay, now this car was in fact done by one of our we worked together. The person who designed this concept car, his name is Abhijit Kumar. He's from Assam. We worked together. In fact, Umesh, me and Abhijit, we worked together. He came out with this concept vehicle. This car is 100% designed and developed, designed in India. It's not yet developed into a production vehicle. It's a concept. So the point I'm trying to say here is that this is the kind of design we're talking about in this webinar out here. High quality design, high-end design, not just some, you're adding a lot of value. Okay, and let's say, even if I take the best technical, BTech students, first rankers all over India, yes, they may be able to come up with a technically superior car, but they will not be able to come out with a beautiful design. That's the skin of the car, and that is a part of the vehicle. Okay, so that's where we play such an important role. Okay, now what is the range of design? it's not just industrial products, it's even software. So many, every designers work in, there is no software company, big or even a medium company, that can go beyond a point without designers, right? Without, so what do creative people like us do in this in software companies? It's not that we are expected to know coding, or we are expected to program. No, okay, but we act as user experience, user interface designers, right? All the apps and games, and look at your cell phone, look at your laptop. The whole interface, the whole walkthrough is done by designers, okay, creative people who understand. We understand the humanness, the experience that people want to that people go through. Like, I do not know if you've heard the word universal design. So universal design is, even if you give, say, an iPad to a small child, who doesn't, like, say, for example, my son can't even make proper sentences, but he can browse through the games, and he can browse through YouTube and things like that. So you're making design universal. You're making design universal across all ages. There may be elderly people who are not yet caught up with, who are not yet tech savvy. For example, I met an old man who's an old uncle of mine who, after COVID, started playing bridge online, and he was so averse to a laptop or computer, or a computer. But once he started using it, he was forced to use a laptop, and he got through with such ease. Okay. So user experience designers, UI UX designers, and yes, of course, we work in every possible sector of the software industry. Product design, this is just an example of some good, this to your left, what you see is called as a Dyson fan. It does not have a blade. You can actually put your hand through that, and you can feel the breeze. It's a very nice, interesting product. Maybe y'all can check it out online, a Dyson fan. So that's a very, so why I'm showing you this product is, when you think of a fan, you cannot think of a fan without blades, right? The blades of the fan. But here is a fan without blades. You're defining design. You're redesigning a fan, and you've come up with such a beautiful product. So there you go, the Apple computer. And also, this is another product that is here, a live straw. So what is a live straw? It's a small, simple straw. It has a filter on the inside. You can take it on a trek. You can take it on a hike. You just have to put it in water, and you just suck on one end, and you will get clean water. Okay, filtered water. So very interesting, simple product, but just to show you a good idea of a good product design. Now, what about the medical industry? So what are designers doing even in the medical industry? For example, we have our batchmates and classmates who work for Johnson & Johnson. And they are industrial designers in Johnson & Johnson. They go for surgeries, orthopedic surgeries, dental procedures, and they they observe doctors and help redesign surgical equipment, dentist equipment. So even designers, we are. I mean, think about it. Look around you. Everything that you see, the table, the chair, the switchboard, your laptop, your mouse, your phone, your shoes, the clothes you wear, it's all, anything that you can physically see, or even the software in front of you, there is a designer there at one stage or another. Okay. Even consultancy companies, all the big consultancy companies have design teams with them. So, for example, they envision what are the products of the future, what direction should a company go in the future, what is the competitive advantage a company can have. So even consultancy companies have a team of designers helping them to understand or generate reports to guide companies that come in for for consultancy as to what kind of future decisions they can make. So typically, this is what a design environment is. This is exactly the environment that Umesh and me worked in. It's such a lovely environment. It's it's more like a studio feel, a very artistic environment. A typical, your typical design studio. We all already saw that slide. How is design changing India? Now, visual communication design. So even your rupee symbol was designed by a visual communication designer. He is from IIT Bombay, Uday Kumar. And a good example for a good communication design. And communication design is just booming. In fact, it's such a large, it's an industry that absorbs a lot of designers. So everything is going digital. If you're like talking about education, we're talking about training, company training, everything is going from a very reading format to a visual format. So a huge scope out here, communication design. All the old traditional companies in India have realized the importance of design. And you see Mahindra and Tata's, what a huge leap they have made in the last 15 years. The importance they are giving, they understand that if they don't have well-designed products, they're not going to keep up with the times. They're just going to be wiped out. Just to show you, yeah, one day I was traveling and I saw, this tail of a plane in which all the major the monuments of India are visually drawn on this tail fin. Just to show you that, it's visual monuments that define our society. Like, say, for example, if you think of Paris, you think of Eiffel Tower. Or if you think of Egypt, you think of maybe the pyramids or the Great Wall or the Statue of Liberty, right? Or if you talk about, the foreigners think of Taj Mahal. It's these architectural monuments that kind of define us as a society. I mean, I was just traveling somewhere, I saw this image and it was quite interesting. See this image of this mill. I mean, some of you must be from Mumbai. The same thing, just done and modified, just totally changes the landscape of the place, totally changes the value of real estate. It adds so much of value. So this is what, this is the value we add as designers and architects. So this is another image on the screen where I want to show you a phone, a product of a product. A phone has got so many departments of design within this. It's a huge, complicated product, obviously. Product design, graphic design, interaction design, gaming design, UI UX design, all comes together. So many departments of design come together to create this kind of a product. Okay, fashion. A lot of people, again, don't really understand fashion design. It's not just one-off apparel. You are designing, branding an industry. You're branding, not you're making sure that the brand communication goes through and through smoothly, right? Right from the decals, like, say, for example, if I take this example of this Indigo airline, the decals of the plane, the color of the plane, how it goes into the uniforms of the flight attendants, the crew. There are so many times when you think of a company, if you think of KFC or Domino's or you already have some colors in your mind. You already have some themes in your mind. And as a fashion designer, this theme is carried on through and through. Okay, and a lot of people don't understand, but this is a very interesting thing. You can see this car interiors, right? So do you know that even fashion designers work in the automotive industry? So all your fashion interior, color, trim, leather, fabric, door trims are all, you have a huge team of fashion designers that participate and help design this industry. This is a quick preview into the design, different areas of design. So what we'll do is keep this session open for questions. So you can ask us questions, and that will be more informative to make it interactive. Some interesting architectural designs, just to show you like an inspiration. This is one of my all-time favorites. He's my all-time favorite architect, Antonio Gaudi, and I just love his work. You can take down his name and go online and see his work. Zaha Hadid. So we have this career booklet in which you can get a soft copy, which shows you all the different areas in design. So it splits it up into architecture, fashion design, like industrial design, communication design, interdisciplinary design, IT integrated design, and you can get more information. You can read up more about these different areas of design. Like I said, we will send you a link for the soft copy of this book. And obviously, we are open to questions. You can ask us in a lot more detail if you want to know more about each of these areas. Okay. So, Umesh, shall we go on to you now?
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
So, Sean has covered what is design, what are the various disciplines of design, and the career opportunities. So, if you have any questions about these three topics, please feel free to ask now, and we would definitely clarify all your queries there.
Yeah, go ahead and ask your question. If you have any questions as to what is covered so far in different areas of design, or what the designers do, what kind of R&D jobs they do, what range of areas they are in, I can answer your questions. Anybody has any questions so far?
Okay, so have you guys understood what design is, what architecture is, what fashion is? Are you clear about those? Design is not just art related. It is a marriage between art and technology. Okay, so you got to use both your right brain and left brain to function really well as a designer.
So I think, Umesh, let's go for one round of questions. I know we asked them, but just to make sure that they really understand, because this is the key area. Anybody, you can ask questions. Come on, you must be having some sort of question.
No question is a silly question. All right. So every question we value, we will try to help you understand and explain it further.
Okay, so we have a question from Nihal. What exactly is user experience? Okay. So Nihal, even though this term user experience is used extensively in the software industry, but actually user experience goes across all disciplines of design. It's basically what's the experience of now let's say there are two apps, okay? Both are, let's say, food apps to order for food. So one app, you go there and you're flawlessly able to understand something. You're flawlessly able to go from one spot to another spot, another area, and you're getting exactly what you want. There could be another app, same app, where you're struggling, you're getting stuck, you do not know where to go, you do not know what to press. Or the same thing can be with a website, or the same thing can even be with a service or a product. Okay, you don't really know how to use it. So it's nothing but the basic experience a layman would get, right? A layman is not going to understand your design. You have to make your design easy for everyone, all age, across different age groups, across, it can be even up to a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, or a very senior person. It can be somebody from a rural area or an urban area. It can be across languages, right? So let's say, for example, I have a signboard. I can put something in a signboard, or I can put something in a text. So if I put something in a signboard, like an exit sign or an arrow or a restaurant or bathrooms or restrooms, when you look at visual signs, you understand. So all this is the experience a person goes through. So that, in just very layman terms, is experience design. Okay, so experience design is there's a lot of like I said, this term is heavily used in the software industry, where you have teams of designers to only understand uh, uh, experience design and design software, apps, websites, or interfaces accordingly. Nihal, I hope that kind of gives you some insight. Anybody else? Anybody else has a question? Okay, Umesh, maybe we can move on.
All right. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay, so guys, are you clear about the jobs that you can get? A little bit of pay scales. Sean, would you want to talk about a little bit on the pay scales that the designers get, architects get?
Yes, of course. Recently, I mean, I've been like, say, for example, there was uh, what do you say, campus recruitment in IIT Bombay, and the average pay scale was about 15 lakhs. So the upper scale was about 25 lakhs, and I think the lowest offers were in the range of 10 lakhs, 10 to 12
This
lakhs.
is for the bachelor's of design.
Yes, yes, bachelor's. I'm talking about BDS programs.
All right.
I'm talking about, this is the latest which happened, the round that happened this last month in IIT Bombay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but pay scales can be really high. Like, say, for example, it's not just IIT or NID. Like, there are not enough of designers coming out from NIDs and IITs to fulfill the industry requirements. So the industry is going across all schools, even all schools beyond NID, design schools beyond NID and IIT. And I've even heard of students getting even up to packages of 24 lakhs from other schools, other design schools. But you can say a range on a lower side will be 10 lakhs, goes up to even up to 25. And if students, like, say, on a master level or something like that, have a little bit of work experience, it can go even double, or in some extremely rare cases, even triple of that. I'm talking about starting off salaries. And of course, as you get a little bit of experience, it goes much higher. But yes, designers are highly sought after. Like I said, let's understand what kind of designers we are talking about here. And students are employed in R&D, mainly research and development. And we are looking at students with high level of skills, both creative skills and aptitude skills. So in fact, you need to be one step ahead. It's not just very good aptitude skills, you have to have aptitude and creative skills. So you are taking the company to the next level. You are being innovative. You are introducing new products to a company. You are creating that brand image for the company. It makes you very valuable. Yeah.
Right. So when we are talking about design here, all right. So especially the IITs, IITs have certain kinds of design courses. NIDs have certain kind, NIFTs have certain kind, and the SPAs and CEPT has different. Okay, so I would want to make one very important point for you to understand that if you're looking or if you're wanting to have a job at the end of your 4 years of uh, graduation, or 5 years of graduation if you're going for architecture, right? If you are looking for a job, then design is the place where you can get a job. Like if you graduate from NID, IIT, or a good design school, so you'll be placed as UX UI designers, communication designers, or the R&D, research and development designers, etc. Right there, you get a very good pay. Now, if you're looking into architecture, now architecture is a profession, right? So, as an architect, you have to establish yourself as an independent professional. All right. So you earn more when you actually take up projects on your own as a professional, as a profession. You have to treat that as a profession, right? Not be like looking to work under somebody and get highly paid. So there's a difference between design jobs and architecture profession, right? Okay. So if you're getting into architecture and if you're looking for a job in architecture to work under somebody, then you would not get any lucrative job because you are expected to build your own setup and you have your own client base, projects, and earn. But there is a very good opportunity in the field of architecture as well if you're willing to do or if you're willing to go on your own as a professional. All right. So, since you all seem to understand the design, architecture, and fashion disciplines, okay, now the next important topic is what subjects you have to take in 11th and 12th. Okay, so let me showcase this map which explains you what kind of a subjects that you need to take. The first segregation or clarity that you need to have is which design discipline that you would like to go into. Whether you are interested to go into architecture or fashion or design in general. Okay, because depending on these three career paths, okay, you have to choose your 11th and 12th subjects and the streams. Let me first talk about architecture because they have very specific requirements. Okay, if you want to do architecture, then you at 11th and 12th stage you have to take science stream and you need to have math, physics, chemistry as compulsory subjects. This is very important because the architecture education and profession is monitored by Council of Architecture and they lay down the rules like what subjects a student has to study and etc. So if you're looking at becoming an architect, then you have to specifically take math, physics, and chemistry. All right. Now, the science stream students are eligible for all kinds of design paths, design career paths. They are eligible for architecture. Now you see here, if you are able to see my cursor, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor or not. Beneath this little mascot that is 12th standard written in a box and science stream. So after the 10th, you go into the science stream, okay? And if you're going to the science stream, then the fields of architecture, the violet path, okay? The stream of planning, bachelors of planning, town planning, urban planning, it all comes in the planning department. So you are eligible for planning. You are also eligible for fashion technology and fashion design, and you are eligible for the design, other design careers as well. So if you are taking science as a stream, then all the creative career paths are open for you. That is very important to understand, number one. Secondly, now, if you want to become an architect, you can become an architect only at undergraduate level and not at postgraduate level. So what does that mean? So you have to undergo a 5-year coursework in a authorized school by Council of Architecture and get a certificate, a BR certificate, and register with Council of Architecture to be known as an architect and practice as an architect. You cannot do engineering at your bachelor's and then do a mark or master's related to architecture and become an architect. So that is not possible. So that is something that you have to understand very, very well. Okay. That is for architecture who wants to go into design of spaces, buildings, etc. Let us say you're not keen in architecture, or maybe math is not your subject of the choice, but you are creative and you want to be in the creative field, then you can take commerce and arts stream, commerce or arts stream, and then for you, the design world and the fashion world will be open. You cannot get into fashion technology. For fashion technology, that is BF Tech, you have to have math as one of the subjects. Okay, and definitely you're not eligible for architecture, but you are eligible for all the fashion design related courses. Okay, so that is a significant demarcation step, especially if you're in 10th grade. Now you have to decide whether you have to go to art stream, commerce stream, or science stream. So this is your decision point. Okay, you have to make a decision based on which design discipline you want to enter. Is it clear? Any questions at this point of time? If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay. Now, so you have to choose 5 subjects, right? Out of which language is one of the compulsory ones, and then 4 subjects. So if you're taking science stream, uh, PCM, math, physics, chemistry are compulsory. So you have to choose the 5th subject. So what that subject has to be could be a question for many people. Similarly, if you're going for commerce and arts stream, what subject combination you should be taking? So I'll be addressing that question now. So let us say science stream, you have taken PCM. You don't have to take biology as mandatory. Only PCM is required. Instead of biology, you can take computer science, or you can take fine arts, or psychology, or engineering drawing, depending on which board of studies you are into and what the specific college is offering you. Some colleges even offer design as a 5th subject. If you are interested, you can always take design as that subject. Okay, but broadly, if you have a subject combination, okay, so you can choose any of these. You can go for economics, psychology, entrepreneurship, design, fine art, fashion studies, computers, or engineering drawing. Why these? Because these can help you build a base for your future education in design profession. All right. So this is about the subjects. Now, the second important thing is the importance of your board marks. You got to be very clear on this subject matter. Okay. So let us say if you're going for architecture and you're taking the NATA entrance exam, this National Aptitude Test for Architecture, your 12th marks matter a lot. So the higher percentage you get in your 12th, the better it will be, because they consider 50% of your qualifying exam, that is boards, and also 50% of NATA. And they combine these 2 marks and they give the ranking. So it is extremely important that you do well in your boards if you are doing architecture through and trying to get admission through NATA. If you want to pursue architecture through JEE architecture, I will tell you those 2 different exams and the career paths for those as well. Okay, but let us focus on the importance of board marks now. So if you're taking JEE architecture, you just have to ensure that you have 12th marks more than 75%. Let us say your JEE rank, architecture ranking is like you get a very good rank, like 300 or 30 or 1, whatever, right? SPS, School of Planning and Architecture, they require a minimum marks of 75% in your boards. If you have got 74.1, you will be disqualified for admission. You need to have minimum 75% and more. So if you are interested in, or if you're doing JEE architecture, so ensure that you have more than 75% in your boards. Okay. Now let us say you want to do design and you are aiming to get into NIDs like NID Ahmedabad or Vijayawada, Kurukshetra, or Jorhat. Okay. For getting into NID, you need to have a minimum marks of 40% plus. That's it. They don't require higher board marks. Okay, so for design entrance, for getting into design discipline, you don't need to have super high board marks. Okay, and then if you are going for fashion design or accessory design, jewelry design, etc., similarly for NIFT, they also just look for qualifying marks, that is 40% plus. They don't require super high marks. Let us say you are 100 percentile. You put your 100% of effort in preparing for boards and you're 100 percentile, and you do not do well in your NIFT exam, then that is of no point because you're disqualified anyway. Or let us say you are rank 1 in an NIFT exam and you got only 41% in your boards, they will accept you, they will welcome you. You are understanding the difference? Okay. So this is very important because this is one of the common mistakes what parents and students do. Okay, they don't understand the importance of the priority of board marks, and they give undue attention to what that doesn't matter. All right. So any questions regarding the board marks or what subjects you need to take in the 11th and 12th? You can go ahead, ask your questions. Or if you are all with me, if you can just type in yes, we are with you. Yeah. Okay, there's a chat.
So what about UCEED? UCEED.
All right, very good question. So UCEED is also like design. Okay. Um, for UCEED, because it is for IIT, okay, you need to have minimum 75% plus. That is mandatory. Especially for the national institutes like IITs and School of Planning and Architecture, you need to have more than 75% marks and a great rank. Okay, Pranish? Okay. So, um, so these are the subjects that you can take as the optional subjects, right? So the preparation of the qualifying exams. Okay. So before that, let me just spend a little bit of time on the various kinds of tests that are there for the design entrance exams. Now you see this path, you start at 10th standard and then you have these two pink boxes, the 12th standard commerce arts stream and the 12th standard science stream. And there are these different colored lines that are going to different boxes. Now let us start from the top. The orange line represents the design career path. The first line is if you want to study in NID, like I said, the 5 NIDs, then there are 2 exams that you need to qualify. One is the NID prelims and NID mains. Once you get good rank in both of these two, then you will be called for admission in NID. The second line is UCEED. So UCEED is for getting into IIT Bombay, Guwahati, IIT Jabalpur and IIIT Hyderabad and also IIT Hyderabad. Okay. So this UCEED exam is organized by IIT Bombay. Okay, so this is the orange path. Now, if you observe, the orange path is originating from the 12th standard commerce and arts stream and also 12th standard science stream. So both stream of students are eligible for taking the UCEED exam. However, for getting admission into IIT Guwahati, only for IIT Guwahati, they require science stream as one of the mandatory admission criteria. Not for other IITs, only for IIT Guwahati. Let us say you have got rank 1 in UCEED, but you belong to commerce and arts stream. Then what happens? Are you qualified for getting admission in IIT Guwahati? Yes, no? Can you type in the chat window? Would you get admission in IIT Guwahati if you have got rank 1 and you are from commerce and arts stream, the answer is no, you would not. Okay. Other IITs and other triple IITs accept commerce, arts, and science streams. Only for IIT Guwahati that restriction is there. Now, there are a good number of private design schools as well that you can go into. We will share a list of the various design schools that are noteworthy that are applying worth applying. Okay, I'll share that list with you. Okay, that list is available on edge.dqlabs.in. If you remember that I have asked you to create an account on edge.dqlabs.in. If you are not, please go ahead and create that account, because there is some useful information I would like to share on that as well. It's called edge.dqlabs.in. Okay, so you can take admission in NITs, IITs, or private design institutes for doing design, and you'll be awarding bachelors of design. Now, please be careful. Not all private design schools offer bachelors of design. Some offer bachelors related to some other discipline, but they give a diploma in design certificate and etc. So you got to, it's a caution that whenever you're thinking of a particular school, it's a private design school, please check if they're offering a bachelor's of design program or not. Okay, that's one of the important tips. Then there is a green path. The green path is for fashion design, right? Fashion design itself has different design disciplines. One is fashion design, fashion communication design, accessories design, jewelry design, textile design, knitwear design. So all related with the accessories and the clothing that we use. Okay. So for getting into NIFT, again, there are two steps. You have to write NIFT or FDDI. FDDI is for the FDDI Footwear Design Development Institute. It's also a national institute. So there is a written test, and then there is a situation test. Now these two are two different tests. I'll explain you in detail when we are talking about these exams, what is asked in those exams. Okay, but um, generally for getting admission into a design institute, you have to be prepared to take up two different tests. One, the first test always will be a written test. The second test will be a series of tests that involves hands-on creation of some work and displaying of that work. Okay, so once you do NIFT, or once you study NIFT in NIFT or FDDI, you get again Bachelor's of Design certificate in fashion. It's called BDes in fashion, not BFDes. No, it's only Bachelor's of Design. Okay. So Pranish is asking, sir, can we prepare for two exams simultaneously? Yes, Pranish, you can prepare for, in fact, all the three exams simultaneously. We have many students who have done that, and they have got qualified in all of them. They got very good ranks. So they had a tough time in choosing the college, the best college, whether should they go into IIT, should they go into NIT, or should they go into SPA, CEPT, that kind of a dilemma they are in. Okay, so yes, you can prepare. So I will tell you in terms of preparation, how you have to prepare, how you got to prioritize your timing and what mistake you should not be doing, and etc. in another section. All right, fine. So that is for fashion. And if you're interested for doing fashion technology, now fashion design is different, fashion technology is different. Fashion design is about the designing of all the paraphernalia that we use, right? And fashion technology is about manufacturing those paraphernalia, mass manufacturing those paraphernalia, or the stuff that the designers design. How do you manufacture them? That is fashion technology. Now, for getting into fashion technology, as I said, you should have science stream. So that is the reason you can see that the dark green path is originating only from the science stream and not from the commerce or arts stream, the dark green path. And for NIFT technology, there is only one exam. It's called General Aptitude Test. You take the General Aptitude Test, you get a good rank, and you directly go into admission into one of the NIFTs. And when you finish the fashion technology course, you will be awarded Bachelor's of Fashion Technology. It's called BF Tech. That is a degree that is awarded for you. And then you have planning. Planning of cities, or planning of towns or villages or capitals, new capital cities, right? Like for example, Amaravati has come in Andhra Pradesh, right? So whenever they try to build a city, they start from the basics of zoning the spaces and surveying the space, how what things should come where, and etc etc. All that is a job of the town planners. They decide how the land has to be utilized, and they lay down the bylaws and the rules regulations based on which the further development can be happened. Okay. Not only that, even if a developed city, how they can decongest it, or how they can enhance the efficiency of that city or the urban space, is the job of the town planners. If you want to do town planning, then you have to uh, take up the JEE paper 2 architecture. In that, there is a paper called as planning. So you have to take up the JEE paper 2 planning exam, qualify it, and you can get into the 3 SPAs and 11 NITs. SPAs have the planning department, and some private institutes have the planning department, so you can go there. And once you finish Bachelor's of Planning, you will be awarded B Planning, Bachelor's of Planning degree. Now, all these, like Bachelor's of Design, Bachelor's of Fashion Technology, Bachelor's of Planning, these are all 4-year programs. Okay, so you have to be in the school for 4 years. They're not 3 years, they are 4-year programs. So you got to be cautious when you're choosing a school, whether they're offering a 3-year program, 3-year degree program, or a 4-year program. You should be going for a 4-year program. Now, next comes the architecture. For getting into architecture, there are 3 routes. Okay, one is taking the JEE paper 2 architecture. Okay, so JEE has paper 1, that is the mains, that is for getting into the engineering route, and then there is paper 2, which is architecture or planning. So you take that up and qualify and get into School of Planning and Architecture and NITs. That is only one paper that you need to take up, but you can attempt twice because they have 2 different exam dates. And that is the first route for getting into architecture school. The second route is through NATA, National Aptitude Test for Architecture. Now, this is accepted by more than 450 plus architecture schools. And again, this is only a one test. You can attempt multiple times, but only one test. And they consider 50% of your board marks and 50% your NATA score, and to give the shortlisting for getting into an architecture school. Now, the third and the most difficult route is taking the IIT mains, like math, physics, chemistry, IIT advanced, the second stage of IIT preparation. You have to get below some 8,000 rank. Then there will be architecture aptitude test at the institute level. You qualify it, and then you get into IIT Roorkee or IIT Kharagpur. So if you want to study architecture in IITs, this is the method. You have to take IIT Main, IIT Advanced, and AAT. That is a difficult route. Not many people go for that. It's only those people who have qualified for IIT Advanced and they are expecting to get computer science or electronics or chemical engineering in one of the colleges, IITs. They could not get it, and they happen to be creative. So they want to try architecture aptitude test. They qualify and they get into IIT Roorkee and IIT Kharagpur. Unfortunately, that is the reality. So you have 3 routes for getting into an architecture school. For getting into IIT Roorkee or IIT Kharagpur, how many routes are there? Can you chat in the chat window? How many routes are there for getting admission in IIT Roorkee or IIT Kharagpur? 1, 2, or 3? Christine, for getting into IIT Roorkee or IIT Kharagpur, there is only one route. That is taking the IIT Mains, IIT Advanced, and Architecture Aptitude Test. They would not accept the NATA score. They would not accept the IIT JEE paper 2 architecture score. There is only one route for IIT Roorkee and Kharagpur. Okay. Now, um, for getting into School of Planning and Architecture, how many routes are there? For getting into School of Planning and Architecture, can anybody try answering that question? How many routes or how many exams would qualify you to get into SPS? Yes, there is only one exam, JEE Paper 2 Architecture, because SPAs and NITs, they do not accept NATA scores. Okay, there is a little complication like this, but anyway, when time comes, we are there to help you out, so you can depend on us. We will guide you on that. But this is a rule of thumb, and this chart, I will share this chart with you. It is also available on our website. It's a beautiful chart. It gives you very good clear path of where you have to be going and what exams you have to be taking. All right. Okay, so that is about the doing bachelor's, and of course masters. If you want to, irrespective of which design discipline or engineering or whichever degree that you do, whether you do fine arts, 3-year degree or engineering degree at your bachelor's level, if you want to do design, you can always take this exam of NID PG, NIFT PG or CEED and do the design programs at PG level. But for doing architecture, as I told you before, only architects can go forward and do Masters of Architecture program. All right, engineers cannot do, fine arts cannot do, fine artists cannot do, and the 3-year degree students cannot do architecture program. So that is a limitation for architecture. Okay, so this is a very detailed explanation. I hope it was useful, and if you have any doubts, please ask me now regarding this topic. All right, so if there are no doubts, so let me proceed. Preparation for qualifying exams. Now, as you know that there is a different exam for a different discipline, okay? You got to understand what design discipline that you're going, and you got to prepare accordingly. But very interestingly, 40 to 50% of what each of these exams are testing is almost similar. The remaining 40 to 50%, the remaining 50%, 50 to 60% would change depending on the design discipline. Okay. So at this point of time, I'll just give you an overview of what is being tested. Number one is your aptitude. When I say your aptitude, it is about not just aptitude related with your left brain, but also aptitude related with your right brain. So you would have problems like mental ability, visual spatial ability, numerical ability, English comprehension, that kind of an aptitude testing, along with your creative abilities, imagination power, color sensibilities, your emotional abilities, and etc. So they are checking at the 360-degree development of your brain, okay, to see if you have the enough aptitude to get into a design career or not. Now, if you look into the IIT or engineering entrance exam, they are heavily looking into your left brain capacity. They are not bothered about the right brain, okay, or the combination of left and right brain. They're not bothered. They heavily test on the left brain. So they see, okay, whether you're able to solve the problems, you're able to understand the question, you're able to remember and put a formula and solve it, etc., etc. It's all the left brain capacity. That is what they're testing. So this design entrance exams are very, very special because you got to develop both of your left brains and right brains. That is how they're very, very unique. Secondly, they are looking at the knowledge or awareness of the profession that you are getting into. Let us say you're taken architecture and you're taking NATA entrance exam. So they would want to understand what level of understanding of architecture do you have. Do you know the terms of buildings? Do you know the types of buildings? Do you know the materials used for construction of the buildings? Do you know famous architects? Do you know their works? Do you know which building is where? So this is all knowledge or general awareness. Similarly, if you're going for design entrance exam, they'll be asking questions related with design. Okay. And similarly for fashion. So in fashion, they'll be asking about the brands, brand ambassadors, brand founders, what is a brand meant for, brand colors, brand taglines, right? So all that will be asked for the fashion design exam. So you got to develop your knowledge or awareness of the industry. Third is the design sketching. Now, this is called design sketching. This is not called art. They're not checking your art capacity. They're checking your design sketching capacity. What is design sketching? It is the ability for you to visualize and draw whatever you are seeing in your brain onto a two-dimensional paper. Let us say you're seeing an object, visualizing a bottle. Okay. Now that is there in your mind. Now, are you able to represent that on a piece of paper, on a two-dimensional paper, in a nice way, in a proportionate way, or not? So that is called design sketching. Okay. So it is the ability to translate your ideas on your mind onto your paper. Are you good at that or not? Then the creative problem solving. Now, creative problem solving, I'll give you an example like, okay, this was actually asked in one of the NIT exams. So they have given a situation. The situation is that a mother and her children, two children, are trapped in the first floor balcony, and the house is on fire. And you have a scooter, a 12 feet rope, and a ladder with you. Now, how do you plan to rescue the mother and two children from the first floor? So this is creative problem solving, right? So you got to devise a plan. You got to understand the tools that are available, their limitations or their advantages, and how you can combine them. And you have to understand the body weight of the people who are on the first floor balcony and the length, the height of the ground floor to the first floor. How do you combine these elements to help them to rescue? So that is creative problem solving. Okay. So another example is, let us say, this was also asked in an NIT question in NIT. Imagine you have planted beans in the backyard of your home at night, and you went to sleep. And when you wake up, you see something amazing. Draw what have you seen. So they're trying to see your imaginative power. So what would you draw? Some people draw little two leaves with sprouting leaves, all right? Somebody will draw like that, or somebody may draw a huge tree climbing into the clouds, or somebody may draw an alien ship sitting on that place, right? Or so you can come up with very interesting thoughts, and what that basically shows your thought process, and they will evaluate based on the thought process. Now that is a creative problem solving. The next one is the material handling. Now this material handling is a part of round 2 preparation. So when I explained you about NID and NIFT that there are 2 rounds of exams. So this is asked in the second round of exam. So they give you some kind of a materials with you and a topic, and they'll ask you to create something 3-dimensionally using the material and its properties to communicate the theme. The theme can be like, okay, represent innocence. And the materials that they have given to you is like wire and probably cardboard sheet and probably ping pong balls. So how do you use this to communicate innocence, right? So that is material handling. As part of the round 2, they also conduct sometimes portfolio reviews, interviews, or audio visual rounds, etc. Okay, so you got to prepare for those kind of exams. And for architecture, you have to be really thorough with your PCM, physics, chemistry, and math, because Architecture is the only exam, only creative exam where they ask something relevant to your 12th standard. All the other exams they do not ask anything related with your 12th standard boards. Okay, so that is the little explanation about what you should be preparing for the qualifying exams. Now, what I highly recommend is if you log into edge.dqlabs.in. Okay, let me just show you edge.dqlabs.in. There are some free material that is available. I would want you to access that material and do a mock test or go through a previous year question paper and understand what kind of questions that they're asking. In fact, you attempt at least one paper, upload it. And once you upload, you can also see the answers of other students, how they have done or approached the problem. Okay. So this is a platform. It's called edge.dqlabs.in, and you have multiple courses to choose from. Let us say I choose NID UCEED Seed. We have NID UCEED Seed as one course, NIFT as one course, NATA JE as the other course, right? And some other courses as well. So let us say we go to NID UCEED Seed, and here you will be under Learn section. I would want you to go to Take Test section. And here you can see various available material like 501 questions, 805 past year questions, mock test, past year papers, and design aptitude test. So I would want you to go to past year papers. Some of the papers are free. Let us say NID BDS 2019 paper. So if you're going for NID design course, so I would definitely want you to attempt this aptitude, this NID BDS 2019 paper, so that you understand what kind of questions are asked. So section 1 is aptitude and section 2 is sketching. Okay. So in aptitude, they have 22 questions, and in sketching, they have, let us say, if you click on the sketching, you have 6 questions. So you should be like reading through the question, answering it, and then you can also upload the question over here. You will have an upload option to upload, and you can upload the question. And once you upload the question, the self-rating parameters would come. I would want you to self-rate your parameters as per your knowledge of your work, and submit. Once you submit, you can see the works of all the other students who have submitted their work for the same kind of a question, so that you know where you are, where you stand, where you need to improve, and etc. Okay, so let us go through this one of these questions to help you understand the kind of range of questions that they ask. Okay, for example, observe the image of the scene given below. A person tries to enter the room by a ladder from outside the window, and sees the scene inside the room. Visualize and draw the scene from the person's point of view. No color to be used. So this is how the room is, and you see a little ladder here. Okay, so the person is climbing. So imagine you are the person. So you are climbing on this ladder, and you're peeping into this room, and the room situation is like this. Okay, somebody has fallen down, there is some stuff on the TV unit. Okay, there are 2 sofas and some picture frames and etc, etc, and you're looking from his perspective. So how does the room look like from his perspective? That is the kind of drawing you got to draw. Okay, let us take the next question. Imagine and draw a real life situation which represents all that is gold does not glitter in a meaningful way. Use the space given to draw and explain your interpretation. 5 lines, no color to be used. All right, so you get an idea, right? And don't be taken aback by the kind of questions that they're asking, because with a little bit of preparation, you know how you have to answer, and you can answer them really well. And we help you prepare for all those questions with our training and all that. So you can be rest assured you'll do it very, very nicely. What we require from you is your keen interest. Even if you have not drawn a single line after your 4th standard art class till now, okay, no problem. We will teach you right from the fundamentals, because design sketching is all about logic. Okay, so once you draw a line, and when you're drawing the next line, if you understand the relationship between these two lines, if you know what the relation should be, then you can draw any damn thing. Okay, and that understanding we will give you in our classes. So we have these sketching classes. They are not like regular art classes. These are meant to make you communicate your ideas on piece of paper effectively within very short time. And we also have a few free design sketching classes. I'll share that information later on. So you can always attend those sessions to learn yourself, all right? So this is about the sketching part, and the aptitude section. Um, I would want you to answer this aptitude. Let me just answer a couple of questions for the sake of your understanding. Okay. All right. The icon below is associated with. Can you guess the answer? Can you please share in the window? Okay, so it is gay. Okay, so Pranish is saying gay. Any other guesses? The icon below is associated with. Okay, let us say you're not very sure. Let us say we have one answer as gay. And so this is something that we have very unique on our platform. So we try to understand how you have come up with this answer. So whenever you choose a multiple choice question, we basically collect how did you arrive at this answer choice, through knowledge or through elimination or through random choosing. So Pranish, how did you tell this answer? Was it through knowledge or by elimination? Knowledge. So we choose knowledge here. Okay, and what it does is it collects all this information and gives some beautiful insights for us, which would help us fasten our preparation. All right. Okay, next question. Match the following line strokes with the related tools with which they were created, depicted in a sequential form, sequence from left to right. So can you guess what this answer is?
The second option.
Second option, or at option B. Yeah, so many are saying option B. So how did you arrive at this answer choice? Was it knowledge, elimination, or
The knowledge, sir.
knowledge?
I've
Perfect.
used most of these pens.
Yeah, so this question, which textile craft does this image below represent? Any mothers attending this session, they might identify what the pattern is. Any guesses? Ikat. Yeah, perfect. Yes. All right. So I know this is by knowledge, right? So this is how you will be answering your test at DQ Labs. Now, this is a technology that we are using only for the DQ Labs students. All right. Okay. So now you got the idea, right? So I would want you to take this test after the seminar, along with the questions, sketching questions, and upload and see how do you fare. Okay, so that will be a very interesting exercise for you. Okay, right. So okay, so that is about preparation for qualifying exams. So we at DQ Labs, we have 2-year programs for students who are in their 10th grade, okay, or finishing their 10th grade, going to 12th. So they can join either one of the courses for architecture, fashion design, or they can go for combination courses, or they can go for all the 3 courses. And we'll help you thoroughly prepare for those entrance exams. Okay. So studying abroad. Now these entrance exams are for getting admission into a college in India. Let us say you want to go abroad and study. The reason could be anything. The reason could be like, let us say you are an NRI and you want to go back to US and study, or maybe your parents stay in Germany and you want to study in Germany, or maybe you feel that the cost of education in a private institute in India and in Singapore is almost the same, so you would rather go to Singapore and study, right? The reasons can be anything, but if you want to go abroad and study, there are some qualifications that you need to get, or some workup that you need to do. One is you may have to take IELTS or TOEFL entrance exam. This you can do when you're in your 12th. You don't have to bother now. And especially if you're going for US, you may have to take the SAT exam, Scholastic Aptitude Test, and then you need to build up a very strong statement of purpose. Like now, why you want to go and study design in their school? What is the motivation? What you want to do later? What are your thoughts and etc. That is statement of purpose. And then you need to work on the profile building. Now, what is this? Okay, this is not required for Indian universities, but it is required for foreign universities. What that means is you're creating a case and putting forward in front of them to show why you are the most suitable student to get admission in their university. Okay, so we talk about the extracurricular activities that you do, the good marks that you have gained, or maybe if you have gained the less marks, then why the reason for less marks, and your future professional outlook. Okay, what have you done now as a foundation for your future profession? Okay, all that will come under the profile building. Okay, and then the portfolio. Now, portfolio is nothing but a collection of all your creative works presented nicely in one place, well documented. Okay, and you also take up some projects related with the discipline that you have chosen, and you work on those projects. And when you're applying for a university abroad, each university will have a specific requirement. They will give a specific assignment. You got to work on that specific assignment as well. Okay, so sometimes they will give a theme and say, okay, represent your understanding of the theme, either in using 3D objects, or maybe in 2D sketch or a moving image or something like that. So we got to work on those specific assignments as well. So the admissions for these would start sometime in September till Jan. So if you are planning to go abroad, then you have to be working on all of these aspects. And we at DQ Labs, of course, we help you build all of these. And many of our students have gone into Ivy League schools, colleges, and they have got 100% scholarships and all that. It all depends, of course, on the background of the student and what they have been doing so far. But however, this is the process if you want to go or study design abroad. Any questions in this regard?
So I have a doubt.
Yes.
So what exactly? So while talking about the portfolio, you said about like making projects and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you mean by projects? Are they like independent things? Like I wanted, like if I want to make a comic book, does that count as a project, or like do I have to like sign up somewhere?
Yeah. See, every individual's portfolio will be very, very different. Okay, there is no standard format. Okay, you basically you have to work on your strengths and showcase those strengths. Let us say you have designed or you have come up with a comic book. Okay, now there are many things that you can work regarding the comic book: the content itself, the character design, okay, the layouts of the comic book, and then how you present that work. Like you can probably actually print the comic book into multiple pages, and then you bind it and actually present it as a book that can be sold in a bookstore, right? And
Okay.
You can use your illustration skills further on to solve a visual communication problem, or to showcase a situation. Like, for example, the COVID situation is happening right now. You can communicate the methods that have to be taken at a particular place. Like, for example, instructional design. Okay, somebody's mic is unmute. Can you please mute your mic? Yeah. So let us say instructional design. When you walk into an airport, what you should be doing, what you should be doing at the process of check-in, what you should be doing at the security check-in, and what you should be doing at the boarding gate. all that can be showcased in these kind of a storyboard format, right? So you are applying your ability of comic creation into a storyboarding and trying to solve a real life problem. You understood, Yukesh?
Sir,
Yes, Yukesh.
means you are presenting your portfolio, sir.
Yeah.
So through which means you are presenting our portfolio, sir. In case of any 3D models we make, how do we present our portfolio, sir?
Okay, okay. So let me just show a couple of portfolios. Sean, would you like to show a couple of portfolios? Uh,
Yeah, sure, Ramesh.
yeah, go ahead and show portfolios.
Just hold on. Give me a
Yeah,
minute.
sure. We will show you some portfolios for your understanding in terms of how they have to be. Okay. Sean will show you a couple, and I'll also try to show a couple of from my side. Okay.
Give me a minute. Okay, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of the students' portfolio. Okay, I'll show you maybe 2-3 portfolios.
One more thing, if you can just add some concept sketches, what concept sketches are,
Yes.
something like FZ Studio. Yeah.
Yes, yes, we will share those as well.
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so what is a portfolio? A portfolio is nothing but a collection of your work. Okay, so it's like, okay, who are you? What are you interested in? What is your skill? What are your areas of interest? It can be anything. It can be a pencil sketch. It can be oil, digital sketch, um, um, charcoal, anything under the sun. It can be maybe something you've taken 1 month to do, or 6 months to do. It can be even something you've taken 5 minutes to do. It doesn't really matter. What matters is a good outcome, something interesting to show your skill. So let's have a look at this is all work from one student. So you can see that each slide is a collection of work. Some slides have one piece on it, and this slide that you see on the screen has 6 pieces on it. Okay, so what the student has done is categorize them into different types of sketches. So maybe you can see cartoons and caricatures here. You can see handmade, like physical cards. Okay, so she has sent cards to somebody. These are just general paintings, sketches maybe with, okay, this is like an oil painting. So she liked the sketch, she likes the detail, so she has showcased one single painting. Okay, a pencil sketch, a portrait, again a portrait, some kind of little bit geometric work, mandalas, abstract work, all clubbed together. So it's not that the student has done different things on different times, like greeting cards, or uh, again some physical cards, physical artwork. So the student would have done different things at different periods in time, but eventually kind of club them or group them together to categorize them, just to make it a little more organized. So watercolor painting.
So it's like a collection of stuff which is organized to show what you can do.
Exactly. So it's
Okay.
like, okay, it's like you're telling me you're interested in getting into the art world. So I'll say, okay, fine, show me your work, right? So that's what a portfolio is. So, like, can you see this digital artwork? Okay, done for a book cover. So now, remember, sometimes a portfolio doesn't just necessarily have to have the final outcome. It can, in fact, a portfolio has a lot more value if you show the step-by-step increment, like how you've gone about it, what was your initial thing, if you've done any background study, in fact, if you show your process as to how you arrived at something, it has a lot more value, okay, which I will show you in some other portfolios. Okay, let's go through this one first. So the next question sometimes students ask is how many slides or how much of information I need to have in my portfolio. An ideal case would be about 10 to 15 good slides in which each slide has, each slide need not necessarily have just one piece of information. It can have a group or a couple of pieces of your artwork put together. So your artwork can even be physical artwork. Like if you see this girl has even put knitting, if you're even into food and you are able to present food very well, you can put that. Or you're into furniture, you've made furniture, sculptures. So a portfolio is just showing all your talents, jewelry design, jewelry concept sketches, character design, caricature, abstract. All this is from a single student, okay, just to show you.
Sean, I have something else to add over here.
Sure.
Yeah. So, right. So another very interesting thing is that a portfolio is, you'll take your portfolio and you'll be talking to an interview panel. All right. So the interview panel will ask you questions about it. So you actually have the opportunity to control the conversation. All right. If you prepare and present your portfolio well, you can actually guide them into asking you questions that you want to talk about. All right. So you can actually do very well in the interview if you are very clear on how you want to present your portfolio and how you lead that conversation through. All right. It's just another tip on the side.
That's a very interesting point. Let us say you have an artist or you have a style of painting that you are really good at and you showcase that. So sometimes in an interview, they will ask you questions based on that, where you can just throw out all the information that you know on that artist, on that concept, on that style of art. Yes, that's a very, very important point. It's a very good point. You can actually lead the conversation by showcasing your portfolio. They will ask you questions based on your work. Very important point. Now, why I have stopped on the slide is, so if you look at the slide, this is about pencil sketches, animals, and plants. So if you look at the ones in the center, some of the drawings are even not complete. It doesn't matter. You do not have to complete drawings or have some fully fancy complete drawings. Even a half-done drawing still shows your talent. Okay, so a lot of students say, "Oh, I don't want to show this. I've not finished it or I've not completed." No, you can make it a part of your portfolio, because we, as designers, even if we see something half done, we understand what you have in mind or what you're trying to attempt, or more importantly, what is your area of interest or what is your talent. So that is another very interesting point. Again, abstract, landscaping, watercolors, pencil sketch, portrait, etc. Okay. Now, I'll even show you where this girl did a little bit of an advanced study as well. So, of course, this is she spent a lot of time and put in a lot of effort, and she was able to come in with some really good digital artwork as well. Just to show you some interesting sketches. Okay, see this? So this is the original pencil sketch, and this was the finished. This is digital artwork. Okay, just to show you another example of the same, the original sketch and the final artwork. I will show you some other sketches. I have some other work. Just hold on.
All right. So meanwhile, Sean, I would like to show a couple of works. Okay. So these are specifically done for the universities abroad. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is done by Mohammed Nihal. He is from Qatar. So we have guided him for creating this portfolio. And he got admission in one of the top design universities in the world, that is University of Arts London. Okay, so this is his portfolio. Now, as I said, every portfolio is different, and abroad portfolios require some specific direction and also to impress an international audience, right? So this is a little bit on his personal profile, who he is, and this is a self-expressive portrait of what he thinks he is, right? So it is a sketch done by himself, okay, and given all those effects in Photoshop. And this is a comic book. So somebody was mentioning about comic books. So I just remembered that, okay, this guy has done, so I should show. So this was a comic book done by him. He has created a nice story, and you see the presentation, how we have had him present it as if it's like a real book, right? So the presentation also matters a lot, because we as designers, we have to communicate in professional way, okay? And then he has worked on a problem about battling mental disorders. So he has done two different projects. One is a series of posters that he wanted to present in public spaces. Like, for example, you see a poster here, which is posted in a public space. And for that, he has followed a process, and he is presenting a process over here, right? And this is an infographic of the study that he has done about the problem, mental disorders, right? So, and then he has done a couple of case studies. He has interviewed people who are going through this kind of a problem, and he has documented his findings. And then he started ideating for the various kinds of posters, right? So you can, like, for example, take one of the posters, like, treat yourself like you would treat the gadget Apple, like treat your iPhone, right? So, I mean, with what care you treat these objects, you got to similarly take care of yourself. So he's trying to give out messages through these kind of a graphics. Very interesting graphics. These are, every small graphic has deep meaning in it. Okay, so that is one of the projects. And the second project is he has come up with a app for helping people who are facing depression, right? So he has come up with a logo. He has come up with the layouts, okay, the entire structure, the information architecture, and in fact, he has uh, created the entire app using Figma, right? And so this was a very deep project. He did really well. And some of the sketches that he has done, okay, and he has also created a project for homeless people, okay, structure in an open space. This is one of the projects, okay, and he has also created a mock TED talk. Okay, so with his voiceover, with animation and etc. It's a very interesting one project as well. So in fact, he has documented all the process. So what he has done, how he has done, and some of his travels. Okay, now for a university like UAL, all right, first of all, the admission is very, very difficult to get. Okay. Secondly, they offer foundation program as the first entry. They will not let a student directly go to the year one. They have to do level 0, that is foundation level. But for Nihal, they have given an exception, and he has been taken directly into level 1. So all that is the importance of the portfolio, how well you can put your thoughts and how you can impress. And as Dion has said, you can navigate the interview discussion through your portfolio. You can tell a story what you want to, right? So this is one student. I would like to showcase one more, just one more.
And Ish, I just want to add to what you're saying. If you do well in your portfolio, if you work hard, you can actually save so much money in terms of scholarships, grants, as well as save time. Like you said, they may ask you to skip one level and go to another level, even if it's compulsory. So it is extremely important that you put in so much of effort into a portfolio. It will really help you. It will pay off.
Yeah. So I would like to show the second portfolio. This is related with fashion design. The first one was for UX, UI, interaction design, visual communication. This is fashion design done by Tisha Thomas. She got into Institute of Marangoni, one of the top fashion design institutes in the world. That was her dream college, and we helped her put up this portfolio, and she cracked it, and she got admission into that. She'll be joining that school very soon. Okay, so a little bit about her achievements, her skills, and etc. And the process that she has utilized for doing this project. Okay, research, mood board, ideation, and final design, and documentation of her research. Okay, visual documentation or a mood board. Okay, an inspiration board, and from that inspiration board she has developed some sketches. So these are the concept sketches. So somebody were asking about concept sketches. These were some of the one of the concept sketches, and then this is her final presentation of a garment inspired from Mughal architecture. Okay, and this is a second inspiration, and you can see some developmental sketches, like three sketches, three different concepts, and she has taken one of the concepts and did the final presentation. Okay, and then she has taken a coral bleaching project, and based on that she has taken some inspiration from the coral leaves and how they are getting like disappeared, losing all the color. So taking that as an inspiration, she has come up with a garment, again few developmental sketches, and then one of the designs that she has developed, and she has actually got that dress made and got it modeled by one of her friends, and these are the images of the work. Okay, so this is the kind of work that is required for the foreign universities, and the work has to be pretty much professional. And in fact, we have a webinar on how to create portfolio for um, Indian and abroad universities. We will share that. In fact, all that information is available on YouTube. You can subscribe to YouTube channel and watch all of that. A wealth of information is already available. Now, this is work inspired from common objects that we see daily in life. So, like inspiration from a bulb, and then she has designed this particular piece in inspiration from fan blades, and she did that. All right, and she also did a sewing project. She has actually designed and sewed this project herself. All right. Okay, so this seems to be a question. All right, so Dion has shared the webinar on creating a portfolio for Indian and abroad colleges. Please watch through that video entirely so you can understand. And some of her this work, this insect work, is part of her fine art work in the college. So when we generally do the framework of the student for the portfolio, we actually go through extensive work what the student has done. We all in fact encourage them to show even a simple doodle that they have done in the back of their book or magazine. So we go through all of that, understand their work ideas, and we'll identify what needs to be put forward, because that shows the personality, right? So in that process we figured that she has this beautiful project, and we have got it enhanced by her, and then added to this project. So this is about a little bit about the portfolio. I hope that helps you understand the concept sketches and how it has to be presented. Okay, Sean, would you like to show, or shall I go to the next topic?
Yes, I have two portfolios. I just want to browse through. Please hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, just quickly to browse through some other portfolios. Hold on. So this is a portfolio of a student who went to a school in Singapore. I mean, I won't talk too much. I'll just kind of browse through for you to see for yourself. So just for you to understand the range of work that a student has done for a portfolio abroad. And like to add to to add to what Umesh said, if you put in some extensive work into your portfolio, it can actually gain you some scholarships, some grants, and help you to, you know, sometimes they may skip foundation courses if or some courses if they need you to take. So it can save you some time actually. So just for you to get an idea of the range in a portfolio, the skills that a student shows. So even see this, where she's done some shadow art, also has come in here. Just one more portfolio I want to show you. This is a postgraduate student who was very interested in animation. So her animated characters, storyboards. So you can see the extensive storyboard that she has done. Environment shots. So you must understand, through each thing she has gone through some extensive learning with us, like to draw environments and brush up in your perspective, character design, where she turned this into a storybook, comic. Very, very extensive work. So this is also a student's portfolio, just to show you the range of different work done by students. What is the next section? Photography. Yeah, she's done photography as well.
Sean, what I would like to add here is portfolio cannot be done in a day or in a week or a month. It is a collection of work over a few years, right? So if you're interested for getting into design, I would strongly recommend you start working on it right from today. Whatever pieces that you work, right? So it has to be developed over a period of time, because all these skills have to be mastered slowly. It takes time to develop all those skills, right? Okay, so you can really save all the last minute rush if you are proactive from 10th standard or 9th standard itself.
And also one more section here. So see this section. The section is sketchbook scribbles. So that means even if you maintain a sketchbook, your regular scribbles that you just keep on doing on a regular basis, even that you can just put into your portfolio. So this is just literally all the little scribbles that you keep on doing every day. That goes into one section, sketchbook scribbles. Concept art. Yes, of course, this is perspective. We also have some perspective classes. Those who are interested, you can find out when our perspective classes are, and you can do that. Yes, Umesh.
Okay, fine. So I think we have covered extensively about the portfolio and etc. So let us move forward. There are three important topics I need to cover. Very useful, very insightful topics. One is the best design schools. If you're looking at getting into best design schools in India, then you should look at NITs or IITs for design, and NIFT or FDDI for fashion studies, and School of Planning and Architecture and CEPT for architecture. These are the standard schools, and yes, you have to put in a lot of effort to get into these schools. But if you get into these schools, it will be fantastic because number one, these are national institutes. They have very good facilities to help the students. Secondly, the kind of students that come along, whom you mingle with, are really passionate, and they are really with a lot of talent that they come. So you can inspire each other, and your work naturally goes to really top notch. Okay, so these are some of the important schools that you should be looking at for design, fashion, and architecture. Now, how parents can support their child. Now you have identified that your child has got interest, he's creative, okay, and let me tell you, there is a small misunderstanding that people feel that, okay, people who are, or students who are not good in engineering, or like not good in math, physics, chemistry, will go into the creative profession, is what many people think. Absolutely not. The creative people, the kind of people who are coming into the profession or going into the schools, are those who have got 100 percentiles, okay, in their boards of 10th and 12th, and they have specifically made a decision to go into the design professions because number one, it is very interesting, they are very creative, and it is very lucrative, and they will enjoy what they are doing. Okay.
Umesh, I just want to add to this. I mean, both of us, Umesh and me, have spoken to so many parents, and this is one, mindset that keeps coming up. That two ways. Like, say, some parent has said, my child is very good in science and maths, but she still wants to take design. So what does that mean? That means that the parent is trying to say, even though she's so good in science and maths, he or she still wants to go for design. But the kind of design careers that we are talking about, like Umesh said, you need to be 100 percentile in your aptitude and drawing and create. I'm sorry, not drawing, aptitude and creativity. They want people who have two skills, who are very good in logic, very good in aptitude, and very good in creativity. It's not just that, oh, I'm not good in aptitude or logic, and I'm going for creativity. No, you are working for an R&D here. Okay, so you must understand that. Being good in aptitude and logic doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily mean that you've topped all your physics, chemistry, and maths or equivalent subjects. It means that maybe some topics you are really interested in, some topics you are not, but you have the capacity to have to crack any logical or aptitude kind of studies, and they will test you for it. Yeah, sorry, you make sure.
Right. Okay. So now let us see how, as parents, you can support your child. Okay. There are many things that you can do. So I'll go one after the other. Number one, please consult a career counselor to truly understand what your child's latent interests, aptitudes, and abilities are. It's very, very important. Okay, yes, your child is interested, they have that inclination, they enjoy drawing, sketching, and etc. So you may feel that, okay, this is a natural course for them, but I would strongly recommend to consult a career counselor who can holistically see at a student and suggest, okay, these are the probable directions, and if design or architecture, fashion is one of the probable directions, it is good. Okay, why I'm telling is, um, without proper investigation, some students or parents, they get into this career because of whatever reason, and then they feel that, okay, maybe this is not the right course for me, I have changed my mind, and then they start looking into different other professions and all that. There's been a lot of confusion. So the first tip is please consult a career counselor. Okay, or if you want any references, we can give some references whom you can go and you can consult to understand the general profile of the student. Number one. Second, very important. Now, these career counselors, they do an overall checking. They would not do a specific design aptitude kind of a test. So for that, you have to consult somebody who can look deeper into the students' activities and understand and evaluate and tell you that yes, design is the right option for your child. Okay, so that is the second thing. Now, the third thing that you can do for your child is give them exposure about architecture, fashion, design through hands-on projects. Now we have a program called as Design Exploration Program. Okay. Now career counselor says, okay, your child has three options apart from architecture, fashion, design, maybe medical, maybe this. And design aptitude test counseling will tell you, yes, probably you have to look into the creative careers, but the design exploration program will pinpoint to which discipline your child should be going to. And the advantage of the design exploration program is that they work like and think like designers, and they experience the methodology, working methodology of a designer, and they will see whether they really like doing that or not. Okay. So that would help them make an informed decision. Okay, so Dion, if you have the information about design exploration program, if you can please share it in the group in WhatsApp or sorry in chat. Okay, so
Yeah, I'll do that.
give your child an opportunity to explore various design projects hands-on so that they make an informed decision. Now, we have been doing this design exploration program since long time, and what we have seen is those who have done this program, they have gone ahead with single-minded focus, and they have cracked the best of the best institutes, and they're doing really good because they know where they're entering. They're not entering into this field because of sentiment, because somebody is doing, so I am also doing, or maybe because my dad or my mom asked me to do, so I'm doing it. No, they are making an informed decision. So design exploration program is something we highly recommend for, especially from 8th grade to 12th grade students. If they are really confused what they need to do, they have to take up this design exploration program. It's a beautiful program, very well, nicely done. You can also share the DEP documentation, Dion, if you have that thing. The fourth way to give exposure is helping them participate in design hackathons. Okay, so sometimes companies like IBM or Google or maybe Microsoft or some NGOs, they organize these design hackathons. So they give a limited time period. The students come together, they solve a problem, a design related problem, and they produce a solution. Okay, so that's also a very good hands-on experience. So allow them to participate in such. DQ Labs also has a design hackathon. Dion, please share that information, where students from all across India participate in it. And what we do is we put them under mentors, design mentors and design faculty of real design schools. So they will mentor the groups of students, and they will give the exposure in terms of how a problem has to be solved. Okay, so let them participate in design hackathons and design competitions. Other important thing is live projects. Let us say some startup wants a kind of a logo or maybe some branding work to be done. So allow them to work in such kind of a projects. All right, or internships. So some companies give like 1 month internship or 2 months internship and etc. So see, what you should be focusing is to give exposure, as much exposure as possible for your child in the field of design, architecture, fashion, so that they can make an informed decision and also gain the knowledge and awareness. And in fact, this is the kind of knowledge and awareness what is tested in the actual exams, right? And now the interesting thing is, see, at the beginning of the seminar, I have asked you to subscribe for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, right? Because we give these kind of opportunities whenever they occur on our channel, social media channels. And if you subscribe for that, you can immediately get access to that information and you can help your child participate in it. So that is one of the advantages why I was suggesting please subscribe for it. We also organize industry e-meets wherein we invite design professionals like architects, fashion designers, and they come and they express their journey into the world of design. How they have, how did they come to know about this profession? What steps they have taken? What struggles they have faced? What is their first job? How they have landed it into what they are doing right now. And we have very interesting speakers like Dion has mentioned. We had Harsh Kamble, uh, um, head designer of Java motorcycles. We had Blesson Philip from he's a design manager at 3M India studio, and we had Abhishek Bali from Dassault Systems from US. Okay, and even there were some foreigners, okay, who had come and shared their journey with us. These are very unique opportunities that we give for all the people who are associated with DQ Labs, and this is a free event which happens every Sunday, 4 to 6 o'clock. I highly recommend students and parents to attend those to understand the realities of the profession and also get inspiration from these young professionals. At the same time, you also get to know the lingo of the profession, right? Some terms that they use and etc. It's a very interesting program. So you can help your child to participate in this kind of industry meets. And then we also have free learn design sketching. So it's a 3-day program. It's completely free. And Sean will be teaching how to draw, how to communicate your ideas that are in your mind, or put it on a two-dimensional paper using perspective as a concept, right? So we are providing very interesting programs. We encourage the students and the parents to take up this opportunity to and give this exposure. Giving exposure is what is very important. Giving exposure is the reason why we quit our very nice jobs in the industry and we are doing this full time, right? So we are giving all these facilities. Please utilize them, and this is how you can support your child for giving exposure and taking them to the next level. Um, so another important topic I would like to discuss and make all of you aware is the most common mistakes uh, people do, okay, and how they basically make their life very complicated, okay. So these are based on our experiences with interaction with 15,000 plus students and parents and their journeys. Very important information, okay. The first mistake people do, student and parent does, is not taking informed decision of entering into the creative field. All right. For whatever assumptions or whatever reasons, they would not invest their money and time in ensuring that they are making an informed decision. So many a times, not only for design, architecture, fashion, it could be related for other careers as well. Okay, so we have seen so many cases. I mean, in fact, there are many cases in our own lives that a student has gone in a particular direction only to realize that that is not what he wants to do. He drops off that particular studies, wastes 3 4 years, and then he begins his career right from scratch. And sometimes people realize when they're doing their jobs. There are some engineers who have finished their engineering, or doctors. In fact, I have one of the students. She's a doctor. She's studying medical student. She's studying her final year now. She wants to drop medical field and go into design. She has invested 5 years of her time already in medical field. Now she wants to come out of that, because all these are happening because they're not making informed decisions. And when you can make informed decision when you are in 10th, that is the right time to make an informed decision. How do you make an informed decision? You approach a career counselor, you take a creative aptitude, the design aptitude test, you do the design exploration program, you participate in design hackathons, you listen to design industry e-meets, what professionals are saying. So automatically you can formulate an informed decision. That's number one. The second mistake is having two goals for the child. My child is brilliant in math, physics, chemistry. So I will put him into an integrated program of Narayana, Akash, whatever the names they are. Okay, so let him try engineering, let him try design as well. This is a most common mistake parent and student does. Why they do it? Because there is a term called as FOMO. I don't know if you have heard it or not. FOMO, fear of missing out. Obviously, we don't want opportunities to be missed out for us or for our children. So we believe that, okay, let them prepare for medical, let them do design as well, let them do that, let them do this as well. So that is a grave mistake, because this is a full-time job. When preparing for a design career or preparing for a medical career, it's a full-time job for any career. And you have only 24 hours in a day. You cannot duplicate yourself and do both, right? So it's extremely difficult. So what we have seen is students, and especially students who have gone in that path, after the first few months will be happy. 1 2 months will be very happy, everything is scoped up nicely, everything is fine. But then after a few months they will feel very taxing. They will not be able to put their 100% in any of these, and there will be extreme pressure, especially from the medical engineering coaching center, saying, okay, you're doing really well, why don't you do it full time? I'll put you in a star batch, this batch, that batch. And they will completely steal the time from the student, and the student will be bereft of time and energy, and they completely lose enthusiasm, not only in the design, also in the medical field. There are so many cases like this. We feel really bad for them. In spite of telling so many times, the parents take that call to help or to have two goals in the child's life. And ultimately, what we have seen is the student will not go to any other career. They will stick to creative career only, and they end up getting into a second tier college instead of first tier college. When I'm talking about first tier college, it is like NIDs, IITs, or NIFTs, and etc. Second tier colleges are like the private institutes and etc. Right? So, in spite of all this struggle, energy, effort, if they have put into one goal, they would have gone and done really well and be in a top college. But because of all these mishaps that has happened because of bad decision making, they lose great opportunities. So don't have two goals, have one goal, one primary goal. If you feel that, okay, you want to become a lawyer, no problem, become a lawyer. Later on, you can go into design at master's level, because master's level, you can do design. You cannot do architecture, but you can do design, right? But if you want to do design, then give 100% of your focus on design. Let there be only one goal. The third problem or a mistake parents do or students do is giving overemphasis on boards. Okay, that is basically because the kind of environment that they have been brought up so far, like they have just finished 10th, and in 10th, board marks matter a lot, because those marks are displayed in the certificate, which will be used as birth certificate or whatever for the entire life. 10th certificate is very important, so the marks have to be shown on that. Nice marks have to be displayed. That is fine. But the same thought process will also go for boards, and they give overemphasis on the boards. Let us say a student who is going for NIFT or NID, where the boards are not very critical. Okay, even if they get 75, 60 is absolutely fine. They overstudy. The parents also put pressure on the student, saying that, okay, 99 aana hi hai. You have to get more than 90 only, or 99 only. And what happens is they are not investing time on the matters that would have great impact on the future, right? I can give so many examples. I would like to give example of a very known friend's daughter. Okay, she's very good. Okay, and she has opted to go for architecture, fashion design. At the same time, she wanted to get great marks in her boards. All right, so she has given complete emphasis on the boards and less emphasis on preparation for these design entrance exams. Now, what has happened? She cleared all the three. She has cleared NID round one. She has cleared NIFT. She got a rank in NIFT, and she also cleared NATA, but marginally. She's qualified, but she has got the border ranks. So what is happening for her? Now she has to wait. There's so much of tension for the student and parent. Okay, where they will get admission? Would she get into NIFT? Or if she gets into NIFT, which stream she will get, or which college she will go into? So much of tension. Okay, and they will not get the preference of their choice. They have to basically choose with the options that are available later on. Instead of putting so much of effort into boards, if she has diverted at least 30% into preparing for this design entrance exam, she would have got admission into one of the top NIFTs. Of course, getting into NIFT is tough, but she would have gotten into top NIFTs in the first round itself, and it will ease out so much of stress on the parents' side as well. So please be wise in terms of how you are investing your time. If you are going for architecture through NATA, so this slide is very much important. If you take a slide screenshot if required, if you're going to architecture through NATA, your 12th marks are important, higher the better. So here you try for 99 in your boards, no problem. If you're going for architecture through JEE, you should get more than 75. So whatever is required to maintain 75, do that. If you're going for design or fashion, they say 40%, but at least try to get 70% more. So whatever is required to do more than 70%, you focus on that. Beyond that effort, don't do that. Put that effort in equipping yourself with the necessary skills. All right. The fourth mistake, what many students do is they attend all the classes, all the coaching classes for writing the entrance exams and etc. But they will not practice. They will only listen. They will only hear. Okay, how you have to draw. They will see, observe, and they listen. But they will not practice. Design is a field where you have to practice to internalize whatever has been taught. It is very important. So unless you practice, you will not see improvement in your scores or improvement in your skills. So some parents say that, okay, my child has been attending all the classes, so he'll get 100 out of 100. No, sir, it's not possible. If he or she is practicing. Now we have a nice method in our DQ Edge. The student will have to sketch it out, upload the sketch, self-rate, peer rate, and send the sketch for expert rating. Once they get the marks, if they get more than 7 out of 10, they go to the next topic. If they get less than 7 out of 10, they have to redo the work. If you follow that method nicely, you would get great results. All the toppers that we have, they have followed this method very nicely, and they are in a very happy place now, doing very good job. Okay. The fifth mistake what students do and parents also do is not gaining exposure on the profession. They think that all this information is required only after I become architect, or maybe after I become designer or fashion designer. I don't have to look into any of these. That is a fifth mistake. Because they are not gaining exposure, they will be clueless after they finish their architecture or after they finish their design. They come out of the college and they say, okay, what should I do now? I had the degree, what should I do now? And this is the kind of people that you see in the market. Those who will be complaining, saying that, okay, I have done architecture, I have invested 5 years of my time, I'm not having any job, I'm not having any project. This is completely, uh, I should have done something else. They'll lament because they are not investing in themselves and gaining the exposure. Now we are providing you very interesting industry e-meets every week, Sunday, 4 to 6. It's absolutely free. Please attend. How do you get notification? You subscribe to the channels, social media channels. You'll get notification, and you can just join. There is no registration thing. You just join. Okay. So gain the exposure. Ask questions. Talk to them. Interact, and find out their journey and write down the lessons and implement them in your life. So these are the five mistakes most of the students do. And since you are just beginning your steps into this profession, and since you are getting all this knowledge now, if you internalize and use that knowledge nicely, you would also have great results in the future. All right. So I will just finish the next steps and I'll open the discussion for questions. Okay. So Nehal is saying, I am in 11th standard. Is 1 year coaching good to be enough before writing entrance exams? So Nehal, we have to make best use of the available time and resources, right? So you're in 11th standard, try to take decisions quick, informed decisions quick, have one goal and do all the stuff that we are telling you and you would have your success. All right. Okay, so the next steps, what you can do as next steps is please attend industry e-meets, the DQ industry e-meets on every Sunday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., which is absolutely free. On every Mondays between 5 to 6 p.m., we are having DQ Labs toppers come and speak and give their tips and insights. Sometimes we are also doing special sessions on improving your skills. That happens every Monday, 5 to 6 p.m. It is also free. Please attend them. And all these you will get as notifications when you subscribe to the social media channels. Attend free LDS. Dion, if you can share the free LDS link here. It's a 3-day, 3-hour sketching program. You will tremendously improve your sketching skills by that. Answer past year papers on edge.dqlabs.in. It is again free. Please go and utilize those past year papers, answer and see where you stand. You can take an aptitude test and have one-to-one counseling either with me or Sean. Of course, this is a paid service. We will evaluate you from all angles and from the design perspective, and we will give you detailed counseling in terms of how you can prepare yourself and what you need to do and etc. Of course, that's a paid service. And you can also attend the DEP summer sessions and 8 Sunday sessions, design exploration program, to have greater clarity into whether you want to pursue this profession or not. These are the few steps that you can take up immediately if you are in 10th grade or 9th grade. If you are in 11th grade, you can take decisions quick, informed decisions quick, and join our full programs for design entrance exam preparation. And if you want to go abroad, we have a abroad portfolio preparation program. You can join that, and we will mentor you and will help you to prepare thoroughly for these careers. And please remember that we are there for you for your entire life, not just through this phase, because we ourselves being designers and industry professionals, we have connects. If you have any help or any suggestions and etc., we can always help you out in that manner. Okay. And we are looking at a long-term relationship. It's not just like for 2 years you are with us and we do not know who you are later on. Okay. So we are trying to build that kind of a culture in DQ Labs. Okay. Fine. So I would want to have you ask any of your questions, any of your doubts. If you have, please ask. And we would also want you to leave your feedback to us. Dion, if you have a feedback form, if you can share the form in ways, please give your candid feedback in terms of how we can probably improve this session so that we can be more meaningful and useful for you. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll try to answer your doubts.
Couple of things that I'd like to mention here. I've shared the, please go through the chat window right now.
Right.
Number one is the feedback form. If you all can fill it right away, it won't take you more than a minute to fill, but it's very important for us so that we can probably improve on these sessions in future. The second thing is I put the links over here, the important links. So if you see the link to register for the DQ Labs Industry E-Meets, that's the first link. The one for the DQ Labs Conversations, this is where we talk about exam-related topics, okay, and preparation, completely free. The third one is the free 3-day Learn Design Sketching program. That link is also there. So all those three are absolutely free programs, and we would like you to make the most of it. All right. Would there be any other questions? It's very important that we address all questions. Hold on.
All right. So Nehal is asking, if I plan on studying abroad, do I have to write NID or UCEED or only SAT? So this NID and UCEED are specific exams for institutes in India, Nehal. Okay, and they are not relevant for admission abroad. So if you want to study abroad, in fact, SAT is only required for universities in US, not for universities in other countries. For other universities, you may have to take up IELTS or TOEFL to showcase your proficiency in English. But yeah, there is no need for taking NID or UC. Right. So, how did you find the session? Was it informative? Was it interesting? Would any of you like to share your feedback? Any parents would like to give some comments? Please feel free to do so. Okay, so if you're not talking, so you can also send a message like yes, no. Did you find the sessions interesting? Yes, no.
Or you could also just fill in the form. I've not seen
Yeah.
any submissions yet, but
All right.
yeah, Dia has sent a question.
Dia is asking, I'm in 10th grade and I keep getting internship opportunities and I have not been able to take up as I don't have graphic design expertise. Please advise how I can work towards it. Okay, so this is graphic design internship. Nowadays, all the graphic design work is done on computers using softwares. And if you look into the kind of software that they use, it is either Photoshop, Illustrator, or Figma. All right. So the first step for you would be to get basic understanding and learning of these tools, usage of these tools, so that you can create some stuff and you can apply for the internships. Okay, and it is very much important. See, the reason why they offer internship is because they know that the students do not have enough expertise, right? So they are giving an opportunity for you to work to gain experience. So yes, you may fumble in the first and second internship, but then you learn and then you move forward very nicely. Okay, so the first step for you is to learn Photoshop, Illustrator, and if possible, Figma. Okay, and then you can start creating a little portfolio, compiling your works, and start applying for these internships so that they can know the standard of your work, and then accordingly they can give you the opportunities. Okay, so we have a digital design program where we teach these three softwares, and we also do little projects so that you will be ready to go on and do some internships. Okay, the program is called Digital Design Program. Right. And may also request the participants, the students and parents, please do share about these creative career seminars with your friends and families who, especially where the students are creative, because what is happening is a lot of creative students, talented students, because lack of exposure, they are missing out beautiful opportunities, and we feel really really sorry for them, and we are trying our best to reach out to serious people who are considering and wanting to have this kind of information. So please do share this information about these seminars, and also if they're not attending the seminars, they can also attend many of the free programs that we are organizing for their benefit, and they can make use of the facilities that we are providing for creative people. Okay, right. So Sean has just shared one form. It's a feedback form. Could you please share it, fill it? Mr. SK Verma, recording link. We will share you the recording link. We will make it available on YouTube, so you can go through that and rewatch it. And if you have any questions, you can always write to us or contact one of our counselors. Dion, if you can share one of the counselors' number, I think Navita is in touch with them. So I think Navita is in touch with them. Please share all your questions or your doubts with Navita. And Navita is a counselor who has shared information about registration of today's meeting. So she's our counselor, and she would help you answer all your doubts. Yeah, Dion has put up the number over here, the chat window. Okay, so great. I think we have covered plenty of topics. We have touched upon various important aspects from a student perspective, from a parent perspective, and thank you for your encouraging comments. And we would like to thank all of you for making your Saturday evening free and attending this session and showing your enthusiasm. And we really acknowledge your spirit, and we wish you all the best in the new
Yes.
year and the future as well. Okay.
Thank you so much. So Dia's asking, when do you start registration for the full-time program of classes? So so you would have contacted a counselor, or you can if you've not contacted any counselor yet, you could contact Navita to get the details about the programs. All our programs start every week. We have a start date depending on which program you're joining. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hold on. Um, I'm going to type in Navita's number again. I gave, hold on. Sorry, just 1 second. Right, I've just sent Navita's number. Navita's number again. The first one is of another counselor, but you can get the same information from them as well. But please do contact Navita on 959-108-5005. All right, so that's the number for you to contact. So Dia, please connect with Navita on that number, and she will help you out. Okay. Right. So I think we've come to the end of the session. Thank you. Just a second. Thank you so much. We've not yet got responses from all of you. We request you to fill up the feedback form. It's very important that we get this feedback, and we would be happy to make any changes for the format if you like, or we would be encouraged if you have anything positive to say. Thank you so much. We'll be ending the session. I think yeah, so SK Verma, Nehal and Dia Bali can connect with Dilip on 7720073335. So Dilip is from our Pune center, so you can connect with him on that, and the others could also connect with Navita.